Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is Nick Kranz, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about composting. I'm sure many of you have heard of reduce, reuse, recycle to try to maintain the sustainability of the planet. Many of our resources are being used faster than they can regenerate. Composting actually has the ability to meet two of these requirements. By taking waste that would normally go to the landfill and composting it, you're really reducing the amount of organic matter that goes to the landfill, which also reduces the amount of harmful gases that are being released that can affect the ozone layer. You're also recycling. The compost process takes organic matter and converts it into usable, high nutrient materials that be used to amend soils for agriculture and turf. I am a U.S. Compost Council certified compost operation manager. I have been working as a compost operations site manager for the past 4 years. So this is something I deal with on a daily basis. Today I'm going to talk about some of the types of composting, which includes aerated static pile and windrow, and how these two processes affect the aeration and temperature of the compost process. First, I'll talk about the types. Aerated static pile is a pile of material that can either be in a bunker or windrow that has a aeration system that either uses negative or positive pressure to pull or push air through the pile while the compost process is occurring. With a standard windrow operation, the material is stacked in a pile, either 6 to 10 feet high, and then turned either with a windrow turner or a loader on a regular basis. First, we'll talk about how these two processes affect the aeration of the pile. For proper composting, you need to maintain a 10% or higher air oxygen concentration for the microbes to be most active. The ambient air is about a 21% oxygen level. If you get below 10% or above 5%, this is considered anaerobic. Although there are some microbes that still operate in this oxygen level, they release a lot of hydrogen sulfide gas, which has the smell of rotten eggs. Anyone working in the compost industry knows that odor complaints are one of your biggest concerns and can have a great effect on the success of your operation. With an aerated static pile, you constantly have oxygen being forced into the pile, which maintains the 10% or higher oxygen level that you require. Some of your more advanced static aerated piles have sensors within the pile that read temperatures, moistures, and oxygen levels, and the aeration system can actually adjust the amount of moisture, air, and oxygen that is pushed into the material dependent on these sensors. This can ensure that the pile stays anaerobic during the entire process. With a windrow system, the aeration is tried to be maintained through windrow turning. With most operations, the piles are turned every 2 to 3 days. But studies have shown that the oxygen actually depletes within a few hours of being turned. So with this method, the pile stays aerobic for a few hours and then may be anaerobic for 24 to 48 hours and then return to aerobic again after the next turning. This greatly slows down the composting process and also greatly increases your chance of odor complaints. So on controlling the aeration of the pile, a aerated static pile would much greatly increase your chances of having a successful operation. Next, we're going to talk about temperature. The temperature of a pile of compost should be maintained between 90 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. If you get below 90 degrees, many of your organisms begin to go dormant, and this greatly decreases the composting process. Once you get above 140 degrees, it can actually cause the death of some of the organisms and also increase your chances of odor and spontaneous combustion that can cause fires within your facility. With a aerated static pile, the constant air blowing through the pile can be used to regulate temperature and avoid the pile from getting to the temperatures that will hurt the microbes. And also, with the microbes having plenty of oxygen, that activity should help keep the temperature above the 90-degree minimum requirement. With a windrow operation, you have a much greater possibility of having hot and cold spots. The windrow operation counts on the air moving up through the pile and pulling air in through the sides, and this results in the core of the pile often not having enough oxygen and getting extremely hot, which can cause spontaneous combustion if not turned on a regular basis. Also, the temperatures may get extremely high before turned, and then once turned, they may get too low and have to take a while for it to speed back to bring up to temperature and then get very high again. So rather than maintaining a constant temperature throughout the process, you're getting much spikes and slumps that are both not helpful in controlling your compost and also give you a greater chance of odor. In conclusion, a aerated static pile does a much better job of controlling both the oxygenation of the pile and the temperature, which gives you a much higher quality product and also avoids odor complaints, which is one of the biggest concerns of an operation. So from the information that I've gave, I would think that it shows that aerated static pile is a better option when composting materials. Thank you for your time.